Bobo here. Welcome back to another live stream. So I know we've still got to do the times where we're revamping an FLP. So if you've not watched that series so far, go and check that out because it's quite a fun series. And if you're not sure what it's about, essentially I went on to YouTube and I just searched in for like FLPs of like random tracks, like house tracks and hardcore tracks, and we downloaded an FLP essentially, and we started to revamp it and see if we could turn it into a bounce track. And we started with a house track that we just in the end thought this isn't really going to sound that good, it's not really going to work, so we scrapped it. We had another little browse and we got this hardcore track that had like a real sort of uplifting, happy sort of vibe to it, and we slowed it down to like a bounce vibe and put like a donk on it instead of like a hardcore bass, and changed quite a lot of things and sort of rearranged the whole track. And then I got this idea to add this vocal to it, and it then became an actual remix of something. And we've essentially just got to do another part of it, and I've really enjoyed it. It's been fun to do, but then I've just gone into like such a busy period where I've been announcing gigs and I've got other bits and bobs that have been going on outside of YouTube, and I've taken on another radio show, like an online streaming show that I now do on a Tuesday at 8 o'clock. So I've just literally finished that now and hopped straight onto here, and it's just been busy. So I will get back onto that. I'll probably get back onto it maybe tomorrow, depending. I know tomorrow I often go into actual FM radio with the layman, so I'm not sure if I'll be going in or not. And if I am, then I definitely won't get time. And then Thursday I do my other streams. I do my Facebook page stream, which I'll hopefully be doing. And then Friday is a busy day because it's Gig Buddies, the relaunch. It's a booking. So, but why I wanted to come live like right here and right now is because I wanted to do a little bit of a YouTube update and a little bit of a channel update, and talk about a couple of little sort of like ideas. And essentially I want to sort of revamp the channel a little bit, and I want to start doing some different things on the channel as well. And you know, because at the moment the channel kind of only really consists of like me announcing bookings, and then we do like I can't remember what we call it, but I'm gonna have to look at what we call it. But essentially I do streams like if I'm so on a weekend, if I go somewhere, like if I'm just at an event and I'm not necessarily like rave DJing, or I'm not booked or anything. I go to an event and sometimes I'll do like a sort of like stream, and it'll just sort of, you know, if I've done anything interesting over the weekend. Yeah, this weekend's antics. So we call it this weekend's antics, and I just talk about a little bit about if I've got up to anything over the weekend, and then obviously we do like the, you know, obviously like the God's sake, I can't get my words out. We do the gig announcements, and then we do like the gig aftermaths where I'll talk to you about obviously how the gig went and stuff like that. So amongst that, I want to start doing some different things on the channel. I want to start pumping up some vibes and stuff, and I've got some ideas in mind of some things that I want to do on the channel. Now, one of them that a lot of people are going to probably suggest is like go live and do some mixes, and I'd love to do that. That's something that I do enjoy doing, but because I do it on a lot of other, like I do it on Facebook, and then I'm with two other like online radio stations, and then I'm with another Facebook page as well. It's just a little bit, you know, finding the time to actually hop on and do like a stream like that on YouTube, because like you know, like say now, for instance, if I'd done that instead of this, I've just done an hour of mixing already. Do you know what I mean? So it's kind of a little bit tricky to do that. Like, never say never. Like, you know, my schedules always change and free up. So, you know, one week I can be on. Oh, we dropped the phone. One week we could be on one thing, and then like the next week we could be like, you know, we could be on like another thing, if that makes sense. I'm just trying to see if there's a way we can balance this phone. I haven't shown you yet, but I've got like I've got a new computer monitor that was a little bit of a surprise on the early hours of the other morning, and I was a little bit at first. I was a bit like, ooh, it's quite a lot smaller than the current one I was using, and then I got it plugged in, and I've sort of had a little go on it, and I think, do you know what? I really like it. It's got a real nice. It's got a smaller but really nice vibe to it. So I'll flip the camera and show you it um, before the end of the stream. But going back to it, cutting the long story short, I want to do some more things on the channel to sort of revamp it. And I've had a couple of ideas. One idea I experimented with last year, and it didn't actually do that bad. Like, it was a good concept and it was a good idea. But it was just the way I went about doing it, just, you know, like, didn't look so good, like, to anybody that was watching. But it's been something that I've always wanted to do for a very long time, and quite a few people do it, but there's quite a lot of it's not like a mega massive thing, and quite a lot of people don't always know about these kind of things. And I want to do, or I want to redo again, is like a sample show. So it's essentially, so each episode we'd pick like a rave song, like a dance song, and we'd like essentially locate where the samples came from, because in a lot of dance music, in a lot of house music, a lot of even like bounce music, a lot of tunes will take samples from like other tracks. So a lot of like 90s house tracks and a lot of early 2000s house tracks, they'll take samples from tracks in the 80s, 70s. They'll even take elements from tracks in the 60s. Some dance tunes will take elements and samples from R&B tunes, and there's just, in all fairness, there's just a real good sort of interesting read about sort of like samples and about artists as well behind like some of these dance tracks and rave tracks, and there's a lot of you know, like, stuff to talk about, and I'm always interested in sort of like not just the track itself, but like the story behind these tracks, and how they rose to fame and how they got signed to some of the biggest labels, and, you know, sort of where some of these samples come from. And, you know, sometimes, you know, we don't always realize it, but there's samples in tracks that are obviously from something that you know, we even know the original track, but we just haven't necessarily put the two and two together, or maybe we think something sounds familiar, but we're scratching our heads like, you know, where do I know this sound from? And then you hear both the tracks and you're like, sometimes you're like, oh my god, as if, you know, like I never knew that. So that's something that I've always wanted to do, and I like I say, I did attempt it last year, but we just the way the camera looked, and just the way a few things, like when you watched it, it just didn't look what you'd call that appealing to the eye, and just the way like the camera was set up and stuff just wasn't the best. So I want to have definitely have a rethink, and maybe have a little bit of a little bit of a redo at that, because when I did the first episode, which was kind of like a pilot episode, we did together So Much Love to Give, and it was a very interesting read. It was really like, you know, when you looked at the sort of like story behind the track, and how it sort of rose to fame, and where they got the sample from, and how another track actually redid that song, and it was their version that actually sort of more came to fame, as opposed to the original together, So Much Love to Give. So it was it was an interesting read, and obviously with so many tracks out there, there will be so many tracks that will have like an interesting story behind them. Which is why I've always been interested. And there is a duo that do a podcast, and it's called Show Me the Sample, and they're quite good at it. But there's just, like, I want to kind of tackle it myself. Like, I don't sort of necessarily mean like, yeah, I want to copy what they're doing, but I liked what they're doing, and I want to kind of do like a similar vibe to what they're doing, but I want to locate some different tracks, that I just feel like they don't actually do them, in their videos. So that's one thing that I definitely would love to do. It's something that I've always fancied doing, and like I say, that first attempt just didn't work. So we could maybe bring it back. We could maybe re-nail it, and we could maybe get it right. The second thing I've been thinking about doing is a review the track. So I know you're probably thinking like, what they'll review the track. So obviously at the moment you'll know quite well that I'm like deep and sort of like big into my bounce music and my donk music at the moment, and with websites such as Bounce Heaven, Excite Digital, like Acceleration Digital, DNZ Records. There's tracks coming out all the time, bounce tracks, donk tracks, and quite a lot of tracks catch my eye, and some of them sound all right. So sometimes I buy them and grab them for a set. Sometimes if there's any that go up for free download, I'll get them just for the simple fact that they're free. It's something new to put in sets, or if I'm live, it's something new to play. And I just thought, what about if I did like a series where I actually sort of listened to the track and sort of like gave my thoughts on the track, and sort of like so each episode would focus on one track, and we'd like listen to the track, and I'd like tell you the elements that I like about the track. I'd tell you the elements that I don't like. So it'd be kind of like a play and pause the track, and sort of talking about the track itself, and saying like, I like the bass in this track, and or saying like, if it was me, I'd have done this instead. And it's something that I've always been sort of like wanting to do, but I just never thought, just never sort of really sort of understood like if it'd be a good idea or not, or if it'd just be like, people can go and get the track and listen to it for themselves. But I thought, maybe as a way to sort of like promote the producer on his track, and I thought to sort of like sort of get people who maybe don't necessarily know about these tracks to obviously find out about these tracks, and think like, oh, I like this track that Ash Noble sort of reviewed here. I'm going to go to the website and download it, and obviously I'd put the link to the track in the description, and then obviously I'd obviously like have the artwork as kind of like the thumbnail of the track and stuff like that, and just obviously talk about what is obviously going down in Chinatown, and stuff like that. And I just thought maybe as a little good idea, it would be like quite a cool thing to do, just like a little sort of like show me the track, kind of, what do we think of the tune, in that sort of sense. And I just thought it might be something a little bit different. It might be something that just brings a little bit of a different vibe, and I just thought, why not? So we might give that a try. I'm not too sure like how I'm going to do it yet in terms of like recording it. If I'm going to have like a camera set up on me, and I'm just going to bop away with headphones in, and the tune's just going to play. I'm just not entirely sure yet. If we're just going to play like the sample off the bat from the actual website. So if we're just going to play like the the little sort of like snippet that they put up on the preview on the website before you buy it, or if I'm going to like review a track that I'd actually already bought, or maybe we just do tracks that that I haven't bought yet. So then I can sort of, would I actually buy this kind of thing? We'll have to see. We'll have to sort of like think about things, and we'd have to work that out, as opposed to I suppose, like, how would we actually do it, kind of thing. Um, and take it from there, I suppose, essentially, and see how we go. But it would be quite a cool thing to do, I think, and I enjoy it. I love it, not just music, but like I say, I love the aspects of them. I love the story behind tracks. If you're wondering what I'm doing, I've just been very kindly sent up some food, and I was actually just putting some sachets of sauce on it, which I'm so yeah, some nice grub. But yeah, I just kind of thought, like, for something a little bit different, I thought that'd be like quite a cool thing to do. And another thing I've been thinking about as well is like maybe doing some like DJ tutorials on just like doing some like basic mixing and stuff. That's something I've always fancied doing. And there isn't too much of it. Like, there's quite a lot more of it about on YouTube now, but it's not like the biggest thing that's going around. And I kind of don't want to kind of be that guy who sort of like gives you a tutorial about sort of like if you're going to be playing R&B at the local club every night, and you're going to sort of transition from a pop song into a rap song, and then you're going to go into a 90s song, into an 80s song, and then you're going to go back to kind of like an early 2000s R&B song, and then you're just going to cut into a trance tune that's then just going to cut into a clubland tune. That's not it's not the kind of DJ that I want to physically teach, like proper beat matching, and if you are aspiring to be more like a rave DJ, as opposed to someone who just stands in the pub from like 7 till 2 a.m. or something, spinning commercial tunes while there's drink offers on at the bar. And I mean, nothing wrong with them DJs. I act sort of it in a way, like, I don't want to sound like I'm sitting here and slagging them off, but it's not my kind of thing. And last year I did a couple of like birthday parties and things, and I enjoyed them, but it's not. I don't get the same feeling as when I take my USB stick to the nightclub and play like a bounce set at someone's event. There's just not the same feeling. And I know, like, I enjoy bounce music a lot more, but there is like R&B songs and dance songs and like 80s songs that that I do enjoy, that I do love, and I do listen to. It's just that style of mixing is just not for me. And one thing I hate about that is that comes with it is like requests. When you do like birthday parties, weddings, them kind of gigs, like you've got to play what they want you to play. You don't plan a set together as such. You just take like a load of tunes, and then if they want you to play something, you've got to play it, or you're the worst DJ on planet Earth. If they're requesting ABBA, you've got to play ABBA. If they want something from the late 70s, you've got to play something from the late 70s. I remember I was doing a gig once, and I'd actually been booked to play a house set, but they'd put me. It was like it was a bounce till you drop, and they put me in the room too to play a house set. And I was buzzed about that. Don't get me wrong, because I love playing a house set. But room 2, it was kind of like a more commercial room, and a lot of people had come into this room. It was actually packed. It was probably one of the biggest crowds I've actually ever played for. It was a proper rammed room, and there was a laptop like literally next to the controller, and because obviously, like, the normal sort of like club DJ, when there's like no event on, would spin in that room, and he'd do all the like what I've just spoke about. And the people in this room, there was like sort of like some foreign people, and they could not understand the decks weren't connected to a laptop, and I was trying to explain to them for ages, and sort of say like, you know, these decks, they're not connected to a laptop. They're not, you know. I was trying to say like they're completely different. You know, they're going to my USB. I can only play what's on my USB, and they were like, "Wait, but we don't know this. We don't know this music." And they were wanting me to play like Shakira and stuff. And luckily, I had a remix of Shakira, but they just didn't know some of the tracks I was playing, which was a little bit like, you know, because I'm thinking like, I'd love right now to be able to say, look, I've got that for you, because at the end of the day, you are a crowd entertainer. But then at the same time, they walked into a rave and expected it was like normal, you know, karaoke disco request night. And, you know, it was a bounce event with like a house room in the second room where people was playing like techno and tech house and deep house and funky house. And they said like, when I got booked, like would I come and play like a classic sort of house set? So I thought, well, yeah, I'll come and spin some house tunes in that form. And you know, I know me classic house tracks, you know, like very well. So at the time, I was like, you know, yeah, that is something I can do, and I was buzzed for it. But you know, so yeah, so if I did like some like DJ tutorials, I would aim it around like mixing like rave tracks and stuff, and like beat matching and doing some other bits and bobs. I think it'd be quite fun. Be a fun thing to do, most definitely. Do apologise, but yeah, absolutely. So yeah, like DJ tutorials, definitely. We can definitely jot that down on the list as something that, yeah, I could do that in the future, definitely. Um, Apart from that, like, I'm not really too sure. If you've got any like suggestions that you want to pop in the comments of, like, you know, some stuff that we could do on this channel to kind of like I was also thinking about like gig logs, like where I sort of like, you know, like gig log like a gig. So that would be like something cool we could do, like almost like a vlog of me going to a gig. The only thing about that is it would take quite a bit of editing, um, and you know, just time consuming. And that would be probably like the only thing I'd say. Like editing would be like quite a tough thing to do. Um, you know, along with like putting sets together for the next gigs and all the radio streams I do, you know, to sit here and, you know, spend like hours putting a load of clips together. And, you know, and I'd want it to look good as well, you know, not just like something thrown together. Again, which is why, you know, I don't, you know, it would be time consuming. You know, like time lapse and stuff. So let me just all right, I think I'm getting picked up. Oh dear. Oh yeah, I am. See you in 6 minutes, Jesus Christ. So yeah, so jot down in the comments what you would like me to do. You know, if you've got any ideas on what you'd like to see on this channel. If there's anything on the channel that you don't like as well, feel free to put it down. Like if you think like, you know, don't do these streams announcing gigs because it's just stupid and you just ramble on, let me know and then I won't do them again. Do you know what I mean? Obviously, like if only one person says it, I'm not going to stop it. But if I get a few people that actually, yeah, don't do that, yeah, I won't do it. But anyway, make sure to like, make sure to comment, make sure to share. I'm gonna call it the end of the stream here because I'm literally gonna get picked up in 6 minutes and I didn't think I was going to get picked up because literally Lehman texted me earlier and said like, like I'll come and grab you in a little bit, and I said I've got radio at 8, and he sort of like went, oh, for God's sake, like, oh, I'll leave it then. So I thought he would have already gone out and done what he needed to do, like without me, but he actually must have hung on. So what a guy. He says he's coming. So so make sure to like, make sure to comment, share, all the good stuff, and we'll see you soon.